Hello, welcome for another edition of the Woods for Trees stories to explain the things at the background. This time it is about the Ireland backstop. Um, you can't escape it really. The backstop is everywhere in the Brexit talks. All the TV and the radios are all yapping about it, and only very few have a clue about backstop the EU is demanding. How complicated the border situation is in Ireland, why EU is demanding it, and what is the basis for it. Well, to explain the woods for trees, this little video clip by Sir Patrick will help. In fact, this clip was published before the Brexit referendum, but no one ever took notice of it at that time. Brexiteers were mainly concerned with the take back control argument and how horrible the EU was, and so on. Now this Irish Good Friday Agreement, which is the basis for the open border between Ireland and the Northern Ireland, has become the checkmate for Brexit. Whichever way you look at it, there is no way out. This is a true checkmate. So, in order to understand the Irish border, we need to go back 300 years in history. In 1600 to 1609, the Stuart King, King James I of England, he brought both the English and the Scottish landowners to the Northern Ireland to keep control of the native Gaelic-speaking Irish Catholic population. All the Irish landowners were forcibly evicted and their lands were confiscated. The Scots and the English treated the native Irish with appalling cruelty as they looked up to them as uncivilized Philistines, and they could not be controlled. And so the subjugation of the Irish started from Queen Elizabeth times and intensified during Stuart King James I. As the years went by the English settlers mostly left, but the Scottish Protestants, known as the Ulster Scots settlers, their population gradually increased. So, right from the beginning of this unsavory story, there was never any fairness or goodwill towards the native Irish. That is the basis for the current problems the Irish border has. This is the overall map of Ireland, and there are four main regions: Leinster, Munster, Connaught and Ulster. That's the four main regions. In 1450, this is the time of the Queen Elizabeth and the Tudor times. The land was owned by the Irish and the English. So the green area is all owned by the native Irish landlords. The purple area was owned by Anglo-Irish lords, and the red area is owned by English king. So that's how the map looked in 1450. Then the Ulster plantation started between 1600 to 1609. Mainly the lowland Scottish people were brought into the Ulster plantation. There was a mix of English and the Scottish, because King James I was a Scottish king who became English king because of bloodline. And so he brought both the English and the Scottish into Ulster plantation to control the native Irish. And these settlers, they're called settlers, they pretty much took over the whole of the land of the Northern Ireland and chased all the Gaelic-speaking native Irish Catholics away. And so this is how the population is made up of. The red one is mainly Scottish population, Scottish settlers in the Donegal and Tyrone area. And the blue is mainly made up of English, they are the Anglo-Saxon descent, Derry and Armagh. And the English and Scottish mix were in this area, and a small area of Irish privately owned land in Monaghan. So that's the Ulster plantation map. And in 1921, Ireland managed to become independent from the British Empire. At that time, Ireland was divided as Northern Ireland and the Southern Republic of Ireland. The Northern Ireland consisted of County Down, County Antrim, Armagh, Derry, Tyrone and Fermanagh. So these are the 6 counties which were given to Northern Ireland, and the rest of the other 3 counties went to Southern Ireland. So that is the background to the Ulster plantation, and so that's what causing the trouble after 300 years at present. To further understand about this trouble, we need to go back a little bit more into the history about the Stuart dynasty kings and queens. So the Stuart dynasty are basically Scottish in origin, and the King James I became the king of United Kingdom in 1603. Because Queen Elizabeth died without heir, and the next bloodline fell to him, and he was kind of a distant cousin. Then he became the king of United England and Scotland and Wales. He was more of a politician than a king, and he maintained peace among the Scots and the English by being wise and political about things. And he brought in basically plantation of the English and the Scots into Ireland in the name of Ulster plantation. Starting from 1600 onwards, for about the next 20-30 years it took place. And if you look at the dynasty time period, it starts, King James starts 1603. He starts bringing in more and more Ulster Scots. Then it's continued through his son Charles, through his grandson Charles I. Sorry, his son Charles I. Then through his grandson Charles II. And then Charles II dies, and James II becomes the king. He is the brother of the Charles I. And he starts to convert to Roman Catholicism, which the population did not like. So he ended up falling out with the Protestant English Anglican population. So as a result, his son-in-law, who was the William of Orange from Holland, was brought in to Ulster. So the Glorious Revolution took place. King James II abdicated. He did not fight the war. He abdicated, and so his daughter Mary became the queen, and his husband William of Orange became the king. And so it continued, and then until that ended. The next daughter Annie became the queen in 1702. So that is basically the Stuart's age. When James II abdicated, he ran away to France. Then he managed to gather an army, and he come back to fight William of Orange, and the battle took place in Battle of Boyne in Ireland, and where he was defeated. So that was the final defeat. So the Orange Order of the Protestants in Northern Ireland come from that group. Basically, the people who support William of Orange, and so they have started the Orange Order, which I will explain more in my next segment. So the Orange Order, as you see here, they put on this orange slash over their shoulders and walk in the street triumphantly. So this group is a tribal group, basically formed about 100 years after the Battle of the Boyne. The main purpose of this group is to show off strength of the Protestants, of the Ulster Scots in Northern Ireland over the local Irish population. So July the 12th every year they put on this orange robe and walk everywhere in Northern Ireland, including the the Catholic areas, where the Catholics don't like them because they are celebrating the victory over their king, King James, and this has been going on for hundreds of years now, and it's ugly, it's nasty, and the only purpose is to show who is the master, and so that is what's going on for the last 300 years in Northern Ireland in the name of Orange Order. And if you're wondering where the Ku Klux Klan in America came from, well, you guessed it right. It is exactly the same group of people, the Ulster Scots, who emigrated to America, went on to develop this Ku Klux Klan and the white supremacist ideology and lynching and everything. So this is a kind of a nasty group, really. So they are in Northern Ireland even now, shouting and screaming in the name of Orange Order, and that's what's going on in Northern Ireland, and it's been going on for 300 years.
Wearing the robes of traditional terrorists, of traditional haters.
That's just the outlook that they want to give you. That ain't true. Not everybody was like that.
So you think this is what a good Christian man does?
Yeah, this is our Christianity. I mean, that's just plain and simple.
Howard says he's allowed us to come here to show us the new Klan is neither hate-filled nor violent. Yet what we heard and saw during our time with them suggests otherwise.
Black people and white people are nowhere related. In my opinion, I think black people evolved from animals. And I believe that we need to be separated. Whites and blacks need to be separated. I don't agree with race mixing. Let them set up their own state where they belong and give them their own homeland.
And if your daughter, when she got old,
Mrs. Thatcher tells us that republic must have some say in our province. We say never, 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 never.
So these Ulster Scots who actually subjugated, oppressed, and ethnically cleansed the native Gaelic Irishmen over the last 300 years, now they are scared of their own existence. They know if the European Union collapses or the United Kingdom collapses, there's no British army to secure their existence in Northern Ireland, and the bigger population, which is the native Irish, will run over as soon as if that happens. And they are so scared to break away from the United Kingdom, and that's why they are so against Brexit. They want the UK to be together. Otherwise, they are going to be murdered by the larger population. It is an existential threat. It is the karma has come to haunt them. Over the years, they were so nasty towards the larger population. Now the larger population is baying for blood. If they get a chance, they will march, and they will be murdered, and there will be genocide in Ireland. European Union is trying to prevent that from happening. As long as the European Union exists, the border can remain open, there's no trouble. The moment the hard border comes in, and people will start killing each other very soon, and there will be only one result this time. It will be the Ulster Scots who would lose, and they are the DUPs who are keeping Theresa May in power, and that's why this backstop problem has come about in Brexit negotiations. So now you know the background to the this trouble in Ireland and the backstop option the EU is demanding in the Brexit negotiations, because EU knows if there is a hard border, the troubles will return within few days, and then after that it will be just mayhem, and most probably it will end up in genocide by the larger population who are so angry about history, what happened to them over the last 300 years. And so it is very important to maintain the Good Friday Agreement, and for which the foundation comes from the European Union and the European Union law. So they have to maintain that law in both parts of the Ireland. So that means Brexit cannot happen because it will create hard border, and EU and Ireland cannot accept that. And that's where the stalemate is now for Theresa May. And Theresa May completely depend upon the DUP for existence, for her government. So, at least for the next 3 years until the next election, there cannot be Brexit. And that is the end story.
Il y a urgence à travailler sur le texte d'un backstop opérationnel, et pour cela, j'ai demandé à Dominique et à son équipe de nous fournir les données nécessaires pour les travaux techniques dont nous avons besoin maintenant sur la nature, le lieu, les modalités des contrôles qui seront nécessaires. Ce backstop est critique pour conclure ces négociations, puisque, je l'ai déjà dit, sans backstop, il n'y a pas d'accord.